change direction if you haven't. So circling the wrists, imagining you've got Velcro around the edges of your wrists, so you're keeping that contact the whole time. Can you feel there's a lot of good movement happening in that wrist joints? Okay, and then we're going to just bring the palms together and press your hands into each other and see if you can recreate that straight line, elbow to elbow, okay? And as you push your hands into each other, try and create that right angle at the wrist as best you can. And then use that pushing of the hands into each other to draw your shoulder blades down your back, even connecting to that armpit muscle at the back there. So you're feeling some muscular engagement in your back as you push your hands together, wrists in full extension there, and pulling the hands down. And then from there, without the wrist moving, seeing if you can just pull one hand off away from the other hand, keeping the other hand where it is, and then bring them back, give them another push together, do the other side. So you'll feel that up your forearm. We're working that wrist extension and just doing that a few times, pulling off, squeezing back together, finding more of a right angle, and then doing the other side. I'm just going to let Maisie upstairs. Hannah's going to have to wake up. Off you go. Okay, can you feel that in your wrists? And then let the wrists push back into each other. You can either close your eyes or find your peripheral vision so that the gaze becomes a bit fuzzier and softer. And then just draw a wide breath into your rib cage, feel a full inhale. And then as you exhale, let those shoulders drop down, feel that sense of space across your chest. A couple more breaths like that, full inhale. You're starting to feel your 360 breath, front, back and sides of the ribs expand on the inhale. As you exhale, perhaps connecting to the soles of your feet, feeling how gravity kind of drops you down into the ground. Okay, and then let your arms release down. Take your arms wide, inhale, stretching all the way up. Palms together, exhale, floating the hands down the front again, connecting to the feet. Inhale, reaching up. Exhaling, hands down. So this is really a breath exercise, just feeling how your ribs expand. Your arms are out of the way, you can widen into the ribs, extend upwards, exhaling down. So the torso makes more space to breathe into. Let's do one more. And then this time bending your knees, folding forward, bring your fingertips to the floor, move all the bits off your mat, and then let your head relax right down. Just enjoy a few breaths in your forward bend, so you might be able to feel more awareness in the back ribs as you inhale. You might want to feel releasing the neck, turning side to side or nodding. And just notice how that blood pressure, the blood flow goes to the shoulders, the neck and the face. So just feeling that. Calming breath there. And then as we inhale, might be fingertips or hands to shins. Find a length through the spine. Hold it for a breath. So legs are active, hamstrings are active. And see if you can feel extension from the crown of your head into your tailbone as you push your hands into your shins. So there's this sense of lengthening along the torso, along the spine. Taking a couple of breaths there. Exhale, sliding your hands back to the floor and step your left leg back, bring your knee to the mat, come into a low lunge. And then take your arms wide and hands to the back of your head. I'm going to do it forward so you can see. As you exhale, glutes squeeze a bit. As you exhale, let the elbows come forward and curl your spine. So as if you're going straight down like a slinky. And see if you can draw the elbows towards the knee. So they might touch down, they might not. And then lifting back up on your inhale, pushing head and hands together. It's not really a lean back, but think of lengthening your upper back upwards. So the thoracic spine is in extension. Exhale, curling again. Just nice and slowly. So it's a bit like doing cat-cow. You're trying to feel spinal articulation. And then inhaling up, pushing the head and the hands together. Lengthen upwards. It's like your hands pull the base of your skull up. Let's do one more like that. Exhaling forward. Inhaling all the upright position, squeezing the glutes. We're going to bend over to the right. And you see how far it feels like a good place to go. Watch for the head coming forward, keep pushing back, reaching that top elbow up. Just breathing along your left side. Noticing all the toning in the torso holding you there. Very slowly coming all the way back up. And then from there, rotate towards your right leg. So you're turning your body to the side. Reach out through your arms. Bring that the left hand down to the outside of your right knee. And use that pressing of hand and knee to breathe into your thoracic ribs, the spine there. So you're breathing into that rotation. You can lower the back hand if that back shoulder feels not so comfy there. Last breath there. Let's inhale, reach both the arms all the way up. Exhale, hands to the mat. Lifting up your back knee and just going forwards and backwards a few times on the legs. Starting to rock a bit. Hop your back foot in a little bit closer as you rock. And start to lift the back foot up as you rock forward. Lift the front toes up as you rock back, both knees bending. And just doing that enough till we start kind of waking up the leg muscles. And when you're ready, float your back leg up, hop forward and fold back into your bent knee, forward bend. Releasing the head and neck. Finding that breath into the back ribs. Noticing sensations in the hamstrings, making them a little bit active. How's the lower back? So feeling the shape of the pose. That change in blood pressure. And then we're going to come halfway again. So pressing your hands into your shins, lengthen your torso forward. So you're feeling for a straightish spine. You might know what your tendencies are. Like for me, I tend to dip the back, so I have to pull my rib cage up. You might tend to round your back, so lifting your sit bones up a bit more might be helpful. So see if you can feel where you are in space. And as you press your hands into your shins, can you draw the shoulder blades down the back? Find length through your crown. Find a smooth breath there, and then we'll lower the hands, exhaling to the mat. Picking up your right leg, stepping it back, dropping your right knee to the mat. Come on up, hands to the back of your head. And then again, let those elbows draw forward, curl through the spine. First the neck, then the upper spine. See if you can tap the elbows towards the knee. Inhaling to come back up, reaching the elbows wide and lengthening. And then this bit is the thing to watch for, is that the spine doesn't go into an arch with the ribs forward, yeah? Because what we're trying to do is lengthen the thoracic spine upwards, not just hinge in the middle of the back. Exhaling down again when you're ready. Inhaling up, we're elongating the spine rather than hinging in the middle. Exhale, curling down. Let me know if that doesn't make sense. You know, if I say something you're like, what's she on about? Just ask me at the end. I'll see if I can remember. Coming back up again. Okay, and then we're going to do the tip. So, from there, tipping over to the left, squeezing your glutes sideways on. How far feels about right that you can hold it, and then just breathe along your right side this time. Watch you're not leaning forward. All your awareness along that side. Last breath there. Inhale, coming up. And then a slow rotation to the left. Squeezing in at the hips. Reach the arms wide. See how that feels? You can drop that right hand to the left knee, push them into each other. And see how that changes the kind of twist you get in the upper spine. Do lower your back hand if that's comfier. And then we're going to inhale both arms all the way back up again. Exhaling, hands to the mat. Picking up your back knee and finding that rocking movement. So you might want to make a shorter stance. Both knees are bending pretty much all the time. You're just shifting the weight. Seeing what you feel. You can start to float the back foot up. And when you're ready, let the back foot lift up, back into that forward bend. Remembering if forward bend doesn't feel good with the change in blood pressure for you, just come up hands to knees and look forward and take a breath or two there. And exhale, palms down the front, nice and slowly. Just feeling those slowing down moments. Inhale, reaching up again. Exhale, hip hinging again. Bring your hands down to the mat. And then we're going to walk the legs back, drop down to the knees. Pull your hips back towards heels and lift your hands up. So we're coming back into wrist extension. Pulling your hands towards you, keeping those elbows as straight as you can, and just check out your hands, check out your wrist angle, check out how that's feeling in your forearms, and then we're going to tap the hands up and down on the mat. Give a little drum beat to that, make a bit of noise, so it's a good old kind of press down and lift up. The elbows will start to want to bend, so see if you can resist that. I'm going to do 5 more. 4, 3, 2, 1. Start to move your hips forward and keep tapping, arms straight. How far can you go and still get a tap? And then when you've gone as far as you can with your arms straight, I'm struggling, this is so hard for me, do really fast taps. Speed it up a bit. Okay, and then pull your hands in closer to your knees. Shoulders over wrists. I'm going to do the wrist lift. So you're pressing the knuckles of the hand down, thumbs go up, but the fingers stay down. Tops of the palms along the knuckles stay down. And you're just lifting up and down in a smooth rhythm. Make sure you're not just dropping down. The lowering is as slow as the lifting. Trying to keep shoulders over wrists. Okay, we're going to do 5 more of these as well. Obviously, if it's too much, you back off. That's 4, 3, 2, and 1. Just come up and give your hands a little circle. Was that enough? So you want to feel a bit of burning in your forearms really, and then you know you're working all the tissues enough for things to change. It sends strong enough messages to your brain, and we're working on active wrist extension, which is what we do so much in yoga for all our weight bearing stuff, planks and side planks and down dogs and things like that. Okay, you're going to come down on the elbows, give the wrists a bit of a rest. So find neutral spine so you feel straightish, and then we're going to do the shoulder blade either dropping up and down without the lower back dipping as well, or you can do the circles. So up to you, whether you want a simpler up and down movement or whether you're going to have a go at circling the shoulder blades. And it doesn't need to be perfect. Can you hear crunching? You want to do it enough that you start to feel a little bit of fatigue. And if you feel the fatigue before I say that's it for this one, you just rest. Child's pose, kneeling, anything you like. Okay, and then coming back up to all fours. We're going to take that a step further. So just remembering the 3 things with the shoulders. You can shout to me from your room if you like, but the arms roll out, so your elbow creases roll forward. Shoulder blades pull down the back, so you have space between shoulders and ears. And then you're trying to engage that armpit muscle. And then push your right hand more into the mat, so it feels like your right arm is now longer, and take your left hand onto your lower back. And then we're either going to circle or just move up and down with that right arm, right shoulder, without locking the elbow, and see how that goes. Try and keep your shoulders parallel to the floor without dipping your back. And if it feels a bit too strong, just do a couple and then maybe go back down onto your elbows, or do the 2 arms together. We haven't done straight arms, 2 arms together yet, so you can do that. Okay, 3 more. It's 3, 2, 1, and then bring the left hand back down. Circle the right wrist if you need. So can you feel how much harder it is when you do one side? Suddenly one arm has to take all the weight bearing work on, And so it makes those muscles around the shoulder work harder. That's why we do the single arm one. Right hand onto your lower back. Push the mat away with that left hand, shoulders even. That back hand can give you feedback on what your lower back's up to. And then can you either circle or just go up and down through that left arm, pushing the mat away with the hand. Keeping the elbow relatively straight. Feel your shoulder blade moving, all those muscles in your upper back really strong and contracting and lengthening at different times. And just feeling how this strengthens the shoulder that bit more. And then just pull your hips back towards child's pose. You can rest your forehead towards the mat. Take a few breaths into your back rib cage. If child's pose isn't so comfy yet for your knees or something, you can make it a little bit more of a dynamic rocking movement, but just a couple of breaths there, softening through the face. Okay, and then when you're ready, tuck your toes under, lift your knees up, come into a down dog, and just do very slow reach out through each heel, and starting to feel the backs of your legs, the calves and the Achilles. Okay, and then just make your way to your static down dog where the legs are relatively still. Upper arms roll out, push the mat forward, sit bones are lifting. And then just float your right foot off the mat a little bit. So the knee can be bent, you just kind of, your right foot's a bit off the mat. And push down through that right hand more, keeping the arm rolling out. And then go onto your left fingertips. And then go on to just 2 left fingertips. See how it feels to float the left hand off, and can you balance there? So you have a bit of a wobble around, your hand might need to come down for a moment. You're still holding it, you're still holding it, you're still holding it. Breathing, and then bring that hand and leg down. Have a little, do little child's poses as you need in between these. We're going to the other side, but take a breather as you need. So now you're going to float the left foot off the mat and push down through the left arm strongly. Float onto your right fingertips and then just 2 fingertips and then float that hand up as well. And see how that goes, balancing there, breathing. Holding it, still holding it, still holding it, and come on down, well done. Okay, and then we're going to walk up to the top of the mat and fold. Walking your feet back down the mat and drop down onto your knees. Okay, and then from there we're going to use our book or our block, whatever you've got. I might have a go at the old-fashioned wooden block. Just a bit heavier and harder. Okay, and then you're going to push down through your right arm into the mat again. And again, watching for that collapse through the shoulders. Really pushing that mat away, engaging all the muscles around that shoulder joint. That's the point of this. And then you're going to have your book or your block on your flat hand. Remember, no fingers creeping around the side. It's like you're balancing it. Push down through that right hand, and then you're just going to take your book or your block underneath you. If you don't have anything on your hand, it's just your hand. Curl it underneath you, reach that book or block up behind you. So you can see how high you can reach it without the book falling off. Has your right shoulder collapsed? Mine had already. Take the book out to the side, back behind you, curl it back under and reach forward and low. Straighten your arm as much as you can. Once your arm is as straight as it will go, how high can you lift? Oh my god, I'm not doing the wooden break, that's really hard. And then as lifting that arm up as high as you can, and then thread under again. Push that right hand back down into the mat. Just move that left arm around. Thread it under again, reach forward and low, and then try and lift. Keep pushing the mat away with your right hand. We've got 1 more to do. Threading under, remember, rest as you need. I'm doing 3, but you don't have to do 3. Threading back, reaching forward. Push your right hand down, lift that left arm up as straight as you can. If the elbow's bent, you've gone too far. Arm's got to stay straight. Breathe, breathe, breathe. And then bring it down. Sit back. Feel that right arm. Okay, second side. Block is on your right hand. Set up your left side. Push the hand into the mat. The elbow crease turns forward, shoulder blade pulls down away from the ear. And then we're just going to thread that right brick underneath. Reach it up behind you. And you can do different things. You can reach it high. You can feel that internal rotation. Take the arm out to the side in internal rotation. And then we thread back under. Reach the arm forward and low, straightening the elbow. Push down through your left hand, reach up with the right. Reach, reach, reach. Watch your lower back doesn't dip. Keep neutral. Turn on the core. Lift, lift, lift. And then repeat. Out to the side. Back to the front. Reach forward and lift up. I'm going to check you out. It doesn't matter if you don't lift up high. You can feel the work, can't you? So do a couple more. Watch you haven't collapsed in your left shoulder. Push up, push up. There you go. Can you feel how it keeps collapsing? You have to keep reminding yourself of that bit. Wow, Catherine, you found an enormous book. That looks hard.
The supports, I thought a big one.
Yeah, I did say thick, didn't I? So, sorry. Okay, once you've done 3. Oh, India, I can see you feeling that. Good. And then put the brick down, sit back, circle your wrists again. How was that? Thumbs up, thumbs down, wavy hand. Yeah, can you feel shoulder strengthening happening? Good stuff. Okay, and then from there, let's come back to all fours. I've got one more joyous all fours things for you. And again, you might just do one of these, pace yourself. So what you're going to do is have a narrowish all fours position, and then set the shoulder girdle. Arms roll out, pull down, find your armpit muscle. This movement is all about finding that armpit muscle at the back of your shoulder there. And then push your hands into the mat, lift your ribs up a bit and float your knees 1 inch or 2 off the floor. This in itself is fabulous. So you can just hold and breathe. Notice how much core stability just fires up as you do this. Now we're going to swivel the knees over to the left and then start to take the left hand off to waist and push the mat away with your right hand. Keep swiveling and pull your bum towards your heels. You can sit down as a plan B. And then you go forward again, feel that armpit muscle right now. You can even just check it out with your hand. Pushing that mat away and spinning the right arm outwards. And then you swivel back to all fours. Knees are floating off the mat. Knees go over to the right. Right hand goes to the waist. Find your left armpit muscle as you spin that upper arm outwards and pull the shoulder down. Bum to heel. Come back up. There's that shoulder strength again. And swivel to the front. Drop your knees down. And take a breath, you can pull back to child's pose. So that's the movement. I'm going to offer you that 2 more times. Just to say, if that's starting to feel too much for shoulders or wrists, you're going to do the same thing, but just keep your knees on the floor. You can just turn a bit to the side and load that one shoulder side. Keep your knees to the floor, turn to the other side, the top knee will lift up. And then it's super different level. It's much gentler on the shoulders, but you're still practicing loading one arm, yeah? And finding the armpit muscle. So you've either got the knee down option or you've got a repeat of what we just did. So I'm going to talk you through what we just did. Choose what you want to do. Arms roll out, pull down, ribs up, push your mat away. Remember, it's a shorter down dog, knees are closer to hands. Float your knees up off the mat and hold. Let's hold it for 3 breaths. Push your mat away. It's already 2, 1, knees to the left hand to the waist, start to firm under your shoulder, pull your bum to your heels. And then as you come back, you really feel the weight shift to the shoulder again. Swivel hand to mat, knees to the right hand to the waist, pull back, load the shoulder again, feeling the armpit muscle, and then turn back. One more time like that. You might need to pull your feet forward, they start walking away from you, yeah? Adjusting your feet, pulling back, loading, swivel, second side. If you love it, you could keep going. And then let's join back at the front and hover the knees off the floor, push your mat away, 3 breaths there, that's 3. Just hovering those knees an inch off the mat. Can you feel neutral spine? 2, heads in line, 3, drop your knees down, child's pose, well done. If you need to circle your wrists again, or do a little upside down hand movement, or hand push-ups there, go ahead. We're going to give the wrists a break now, just saying. And then coming back to tabletop. And reach out through your left leg. So left leg straight. And then we're going to flick the right foot off the mat, turn sideways on, plant the left foot down sideways, take your left hand to your waist. I slightly lied, we're still a little bit on the wrist. See if you can come onto your fingertips in this sideways position. Squeezing your glutes. You can always put your book or your block under those right fingertips. It makes the position a little bit more comfortable, easier. You can see how that feels. Fingertips on the floor, and just feel for your body being in a line, yeah? And then we're going to reach the top arm up. Left arm goes up to the ceiling, one straight line from hand to hand, feeling your breath. And then you can use your back foot to help you here. You can kind of rock on the back foot a bit, pull the back foot away from you, and then go lighter on those right fingertips. See if you can lift them off and come on up. That was a fun move, wasn't it? Just trying to use as much of your front ribs and front muscles rather than your lower back. And then we're going to dip over again, keeping the arms wide without touching the floor, just a little bit of a dip, and back up again. Not quite touching, see if you can hover and come back up again. So you could even do just a tiny little dip, just enough to feel your obliques, feel all the core support there. If you want to bring the fingertips to touch each time and come back up, that's another option. I'm going to do 2 more like this. Are your glutes still firming so you have this strong supportive lower body base that helps the core control? And then bringing those fingertips back down to the floor, right fingertips down, turn your left palm to the top of your mat, reach your left arm over your head, breathing all along that left side. So outside edge of the left foot firms, the thigh, squeezing your left glutes into your waist all the way over, and then rotate that hand to the mat. Well done. And then we're going to do the second side, reaching the right leg out behind you. Flick your left foot off the mat. Take your right hand to your waist. You can go on your left fingertips already, that will be helpful. And then you're going to come up. If it felt really tricky coming up, just bend your back knee to help you come up. Find a way. So if you do that, it's much easier just to slide yourself up, and then you can re-straighten. Yeah, because coming up with that straight arm, that first one can feel the trickiest. And then once you're upright, reach your arms wide. And then we're just going to do the slow lowering down, reaching fingertips to the mat and back up again. And you just work out how much of the dip feels enough. Squeezing your glutes, keeping kind of in a straight line so the ribs aren't kind of moving around. And so to feel that core strength and control, how far is useful for you to dip down? So for some of us it's just a tiny little dip's enough, you can feel a shake. So that's all good. And for some of us to feel that you actually are going to have to take your hand all the way down. Squeezing at the glutes. Let's do 2 more like that. Deep full breaths into these wide ribs, wide chest. Coming all the way back up. Last one, fingertips ground to the mat. Palm faces forward, reach up over your head. And just take a lovely breath there, just breathing into that lovely long side. You can rotate a little bit more towards the ceiling with your rib cage and your gaze if you like. Feeling the support of your glutes and that right foot pressing down. Can't speak. And then let the top hand roll to the mat. Make your way to a down dog. You might like to pedal your legs. And then in your down dog, we're going to float the right foot off again. Find that real gripping through the left fingers, firming the left arm. Sorry, the right one I mean. And then we're going to float the left hand off again. So if you're really working on the balance there already, just breathe. Notice how your core has fired up, or your torso. If that feels quite, relatively doable now, try moving that arm and leg around in space, in circles or just out to the side and back again. So if you need to find a bit more challenge, do. If just holding them up is giving you plenty to work out, stay with that. Last 2 breaths there. And then come on down. It's much harder to do while you're talking, I promise you. Let's do the other side. Do rest if you need for your wrist. Otherwise, we're going to float the left foot off. Take your time to find your rooting into your left arm. Float your right arm up. Breathing there. And then if you feel like you can move the arm and leg this time, you can add that in. If you're feeling lots of little twitches and the body's finding its stability, that's all brilliant. Just stay with that. Doesn't matter how many times your hand grounds again. All those little twitches are the body learning to coordinate. Well done. Bringing the hand and leg back down. Let's walk the hands to the feet so you're at the back of your mat and fold. Feeling that full breath. It's almost like you need it a bit more now. Do you notice that after we've been moving and challenging ourselves? How lovely it feels to take that full back rib cage breath. Let the face relax, the head and neck. And from there, let's roll all the way up to standing. Rolling your shoulders back. When you're ready, reaching both arms all the way up. Exhaling, folding forward, fingertips back down to the mat. Relax your head down. Hands to shins, inhale halfway. Find that length from crown to tailbone. Pulling the shoulder blades down the back. And then as you exhale, fingertips back down. Pick up your left leg and step it down the mat. From there, we're going to plant that left foot down and make our way up to standing. You could reach your arms wide, so you come into a warrior 2 shape with the front knee bent. Okay, and then we're just going to turn the palms to the side. So my palms are now facing you, facing that way. And just, feeling the glutes on that front leg supporting you, the knee pushing towards the baby toe side of the foot. And we're just going to start to tip over until your arm goes to the inside of your leg. And your top arm's just going up, so it's a variation of what we normally do. Now push your arm into that front leg and the leg back into the arm. Breathing there. And then as you push through your front foot, come on back up. Let's exhale, tip over again. You could push arm and leg together again and come all the way back up. So one more time. And you could hover your arm not touching the leg this time. You could reach fingertips to the floor. You could have hand by knee. So just exploring this side bending position with arms wide, where feels like a good place for you. And then from there, we're just going to start to straighten that front leg. Corkscrew it outwards, external rotation at the same time. Remember, we never lock that knee, so keep your hamstrings working for you. And then just press your arm into the front of the leg there. So you're in triangle pose, breathing along your side. As you push through your front foot, come on all the way up. Could you feel how you are pulling yourself up, partly from leg and glute strength, hamstring strength, and partly from your obliques or your torso strength. And then we're going to do that again. Slowly going down into triangle pose, feeling your hamstrings. Taking a breath there, and it might be just hand by your knee. It's plenty a stretch for you, plenty of control practice. You might need to go a bit further to get that, and then coming all the way back up. Let's do one more. All the way back up. And then this time, bending your front knee, just take your elbow down and we rotate to the top of the mat. Drop your hands down to the mat. Take your right hand to the inside of your right leg, just turning around so I can show you. Walk your right foot a bit more out to the side, and then start to push both hands into your mat. So it's like you're doing plank, except you've only got one leg back, yeah? And the shoulder blades are pulling down. And then we're going to move that right foot to half off and half on the mat, halfway down. Turn onto the outside edge of your left foot. See how it feels to take that right hand to your waist, and then you're sideways on. Adjust that foot so it's kind of parallel with the top edge of your mat. Option to lower your bottom knee and your hip as you wish, yeah? So this is gentler version, lowering the hip down, or have the knee down, or you've got the straight leg. Find your variation, find your armpit muscle, reach that top hand up. Breathing there, take your top hand all the way back down to the mat. Step your right leg back into down dog. From your down dog, step your left foot halfway up, half up, off and on your mat, outside edge of the right foot, left hand to the waist. Option to lower your right knee. Okay, so right knee down is going to be much less weight bearing on your shoulder, or it's the right knee up, reach your arm up. You can even have your hip down. Taking a breath there. Take the top arm down, step back to down dog. We're going to do that one more time to each side. Step your right leg forward, rotating to face the right. Decide where you want your bottom leg. Reach your top right arm up, find your armpit muscle on that bottom arm. Slowly lower that hand to the mat and turn to the other side. So from there, down dog. Step your left foot forward, outside edge of the right foot, left hand to the waist, knee down, hip down, or the whole leg up. Find the armpit muscle, reach up. Breathing there. Top hand down again, step back to down dog. From your down dog, knees up or down, exhale to plank. And then from your plank, you're just going to lower or pull yourself all the way down to your tummy. Take either your hands forward, rest forehead on your hands, or come into your baby cobra where you're pulling your hands to your waist, lifting your legs up, extending crown to toes. So take 2 or 3 breaths here, or you're lying down, forehead on your hands, full breathing. And then tuck toes under, push yourself all the way back up, come back to down dog. Find some smooth breaths in your down dog. Walk the feet up to the hands and fold forward. So revisiting that forward bend as a way to find full breath. And kind of letting go through your shoulders, head and neck. Inhaling, come all the way up. Let's reach the arms up. Exhaling, hands back down. So inhale, reaching up. Exhaling, palms together, and find that squeezy thing we did at the beginning. Pulling the shoulder blades down the back by the pressing of the hands together. And as you exhale, let your rib cage drop in. And then we'll just start to bend the knees, go down, hands to the floor. Inhaling, hands to shins, finding length. Exhaling, hands down, step your right leg down the mat this time. And then from there, plant your back foot sideways, come on up for a brief warrior 2. So our kind of transition pose. Feeling the glutes working, pushing that front knee to the baby toe side. Palms face towards me and start to tip over. Arm to the inside of the leg. You can do a little push in there, it's a nice little extra bit of inner leg work as well. You can find a bit of rotation. And then coming back up. So a few times like that. feeling the cooperation of glutes firming, legs firming, and then all your core stability, the obliques working. Isn't that great? Feeling this control, we're not just flopping down and hoping for the best. So finding your areas of strength. Okay, on the next one we're going to stay there. I'm going quite fast, you can do it a lot slower than this. Stay there and just slow motion start to corkscrew your foot into the floor anti-clockwise, squeezing in at the outer hip and slowly straighten that leg-ish, keeping the hamstring active. Triangle pose, push your arm into your leg, find that side rotation and breathe. Okay, then we're going to come up, so using the feet, the glutes, the hamstring, power your way back up. Okay, and then we're going to go back down. Hamstring helps to control that descent. And all the way back up. Let's do one more. All the way down. So there's never a lock in the knee because the muscles are controlling our movement, are helping that. Okay, from here, start to bend your front knee, take your elbow down on the knee, and do the swivel to face the top of your mat. Back heel lifts, hips square forwards. Lower your hands to the mat. Take your arms to the inside of your left foot. So like you're doing that plank again, shoulders pulling down. And then we're going to walk that left foot off to the side. So you have to kind of find where that leg goes, yeah? So it's not too far forward, not too far back. And the inner thigh is parallel with the top edge of your mat. That will give you the most support probably. Outside edge of the back foot presses down, push your heel away, and then you're taking your left hand to the waist, yeah? So choose where you want the movement, knee down, hip down, or leg up. Take a breath there. This time we're going to have a go at holding it for 3 breaths. Before you take your arm up, keep your hand on your waist. I'm giving you one more option, which you're welcome to ignore. And that's to step that front, the left leg back and stack it on the right, or bring it in front of the right, either of those. And then see if you can take it back to the side with control. Oh, this is hard. Your armpit muscle is supporting the lift of that bottom side, bottom glutes firming. Do one more. Hold whichever version you like. Breathe, breathe, breathe. And then roll both hands to the mat and have a little down dog or drop to your knees, and then we're going to the other side. Step the foot, the right foot up. Outside edge of the left, right hand to the waist, possibly knee or hip down. Find your bottom glutes, find that armpit, corkscrew your arms outwards and reach up. Couple of breaths there. If you want to play around with moving that top leg, so either straightening it to the front, behind, or stack. Just try different positions. See if you can take it back to halfway up, bent knee, and back again. You can do it with your hand on your waist or your arm up. Hand on the waist will give you a little bit more support. Last couple of breaths, side angle. Feeling that armpit muscle is our key thing today. And then rolling back. Dropping to your knees with joy. Pull back to a child's pose and take a little rest. And again, noticing how that feeling of breathing front, back and sides now is real. You need to find that fullness of breath. And let the exhales become longer as you rest. Softening through the face. Okay, and then we're going to transition to sitting down. And I had a nice little seated sequence, but we're kind of running out of time, so we're just going to do it really briefly once. And then this afternoon, if you're chilling out on the grass somewhere, maybe you could revisit the seated sequence as a nice kind of calming little movement to do. So we're going to take the legs straight, but bend the right leg up. And interlace your fingers around your right knee. Some of you will have done this with me before. I like this little sequence. I've added on to it though. Okay, so now we're just going to drop the chin to the chest, which can be this itself, just letting the back curl for a moment is nice. And then we're going to slowly start to roll backwards. So your arms will straighten and your left foot, your left heel is dragging towards you. Bit by bit you're going back. Now once your arms get completely straight, then your right toes start to drag along the mat as well. And you're seeing how slowly you can roll back onto your back. At some point the right toes have to lift up. You're lying down, hugging your knee. And then we're going to roll back up. So first it's chin to chest again, lifting your head up. Now start to pull your knee away from you. Your hands are there, so you're going to pull yourself up. Pull the knee away, curling up through the abdomen. You can use tummy muscles as well. You're ending up back where you started. Plant your foot down. Hug your knee with your left arm. Take your right hand behind you. Come into a little twist there. It's a nice place to close your eyes or do peripheral vision. And feel that breath in the twist. Thoracic twist. Come back to center and slide your hands down your right leg, drop your right knee out to the side. Blanket or block or book can be under the right knee to support it. If that doesn't feel good for you, you can just, straighten the leg. So find your variation. And then you might have a bit of a bend in the left leg. I'm going to go forward, head to knee pose. So feeling the movement coming from the pelvis tilting forward. It can feel quite nice to hold that foot with your hands, or you might want to do your hands wide, which will help you to turn slightly to the left with your rib cage. It might just be holding on with the right foot around the sole of the foot to help you turn. Couple of breaths there. Slowing the breath down, finding the quietening of the forward bend. And then slowly make your way back up, swap legs, and we'll do the other side. Hugging the knee, chin to chest, slow roll down. Just take a breath with your spine on the floor. Chin to chest, pull yourself up or roll to the side. Coming to this position again, hugging with the right arm, left hand behind. And just always think that what we're trying to do is turn the rib cage. The lower back can stay relatively still. The hips can move with you. And just finding that quiet space of feeling the ribs as you breathe. Feeling the spine turning. Inhale to center, possibly dropping the knee out to the side or another alternative. A little bit of hamstring engagement and make your way forward any amount. It might just be a little bit of a lean forward, might even be more upright. So finding your one leg straight, one leg bent position. You might like to hold the sole of your foot with your left hand if that feels like a good position. It might be just arms wide. And see how it feels to rotate your ribs slightly to the right. Slower breath rhythm. Just feeling that space in your rib cage to breathe after all the movements we've done today. Slowly coming all the way back up. And then let's shift to lying down. Okay, so finding your rest pose, setting your arms and legs how you want to do them today. And let's just do a couple of widening inhales through the nose and really long exhales through the lips. So you very slowly deflate, just repeating that if it feels good. And as the air leaves your body, feeling that contact with the floor become deeper as you become that little bit heavier. So just very gently dropping yourself down into gravity. And beginning that process of softening, letting go of tension, letting go of any effort now. A reminder that you can always sit up if you prefer, there's no law. So the rest pose is where you can find stillness, relatively. So resting in your breath for the last few minutes, I'll bring the bowl to signal the end of rest. Really enjoying and valuing quiet and stillness. Otherwise we'll just start that slow, gentle process of coming back to sitting. If you want to switch off and stay in rest, please do. If you're coming up to sitting, just give yourself those few breaths sitting upright to readjust again. And thank you so much